Hello everybody and welcome back to 2 Times the Grind. Hope you guys had a wonderful Easter, right? We had a good Easter.
We did. We had a great Easter.
We had a great Easter. This is episode 33. Can you believe that?
It's easy to keep track when you just go every week.
This is very true. Yes, we are back for another week yet again. Folks, we hope you had a wonderful week and, like you said, a lovely, lovely Easter, whether you celebrate with family, yourselves, friends, pets, animals, dogs, fish, cats, anything, whatever you're doing, partners. Hope you guys had a wonderful one. Today, our coffee, as you can see, is not in the middle, and that is because we actually passed a coffee shop in New Jersey who actually do make their own beans. They roast their own beans on site, so if you are in New Jersey, you can go pick them up, but it is by GNM, and we thought we may as well let the baristas in GNM actually make us a coffee. So I'm so excited to actually taste this. This is the salted caramel iced latte, and it smells absolutely incredible. And you got the white chocolate mocha?
Yeah, I think it's just white mocha, but whatever.
White chocolate mocha.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
Went with it. I've had it before.
ASMR.
Got it again. Delicious.
A little bit of ASMR of the ice cubes. I'm gonna taste mine. Incredible. It is
Bang-a-lang.
literally salted caramel flavored. Like it's not like a hint. It's like fully salted caramel flavored.
I was nervous because it's hot in New Jersey. I wanted to get the ice like you, but I told you this in the car. I feel like ice is almost easier to mess up. No offense to them. Not that they've ever we've been there a few times now. They haven't messed up any of the coffees that we've ever gotten there, but. So I was like, no, I'll get a hot one today. I don't want to get cold. But after having that, because I had a sip of LVPs over there, I did steal a sip. I had to try it.
You want another sip?
No, not right now.
Okay,
I'll let you rock with it.
Right,
but
thanks.
They do it right.
They do it very right. I'm not gonna put your coffee here. Considering today we don't have a coffee bag or product.
Boom.
These are the products.
I still have to turn it.
I've got to say, if you are in New Jersey, check out GNM. They are fantastic. I don't believe they actually sell their coffee beans on a website, but you can pick them up in their coffee shop. So yeah, this one requires an in-person pickup, but definitely worth it if you are in New Jersey at any point in time. So we need to talk about what we've been up to the past week, because not a whole bunch has been going on in esports.
No.
So we're just kind of having a little, chill session vibe type of podcast today. And you may notice we're a little bit sun-kissed. You're definitely a bit sun-kissed for sure. You haven't got that white face.
Not too pale.
You usually have from you haven't
from the computer screen.
Monitor
the monitor,
the monitor tan is a pale one, that is for sure. But we actually spontaneously decided to build our own patio.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, just over the winter we got sprinklers put in to just make our lawn look nice. If you're a homeowner, you've probably experienced the same feeling. And we're just kind of like, we're going to be working on the grass here, but we actually don't have a lot to do out in our backyard.
Yeah.
We're just randomly, we're like, let's build a patio. And next thing you know, 2 hours later, we were digging. Digging holes in the backyard. We actually
woke up. We're a very spontaneous couple, would you say?
Yeah.
Like, we're pretty spontaneous. We woke up one morning, and it was the first, really beautiful day we've had in a long time. Where it was like, ooh, summer is really coming.
Yep.
Like, it's around the corner. And,
spring, technically. But
summer is around the corner.
Yeah, but, we're just, kind of getting into spring now, though.
No, we're in spring. We've been in spring.
We've been in spring, but, we haven't been.
Have we?
It's been
when's spring technically starting?
I think it just started.
What?
Yeah.
Has it really?
Yeah, something
March,
like that.
April. Oh no, you're right.
Yeah, it's I don't think summer technically. I could be wrong, but I don't think summer technically starts until July.
Maybe you actually are right. Yeah,
or
it is
June.
spring. Well, it's very warm in spring here.
Yeah,
it's lovely.
We're in New Jersey, so spring gets warm.
It makes me feel like it's summer, but it is absolutely gorgeous outside. It's mid 70s, absolutely perfect. Getting into the 80s. Good week. Really good week this week. And we woke up that one morning and we both looked at each other and were like, oh, love to have a coffee outside. We had the sprinklers going and we're like, oh, we're trying to build our grass up and make it look lovely. And I was like, it's so annoying because even when we get grass in the backyard, how are we going to enjoy it? We're not going to enjoy it. We're just going to stare out the window and look at beautiful grass.
Just going to look out the window and go, wow, grass is nice.
Yeah. So I was like, oh, I wish we had a patio that we could just do it. And then we were like, do you want to do it ourselves? Because it is like over 20k to like get someone to make you a patio. Like it's insane. Like it's something that I'm like, oh no.
We had the deal a while back, and then when we heard the price of hiring someone to do it, we're like, yeah, like no thanks. You know, we have, and that's just because like first of all, it's expensive is the first reason. Second of all, we've just had other projects going on. You know, you guys have probably seen some of the pictures of the basement, you know, where we're at right now, our gaming studio / movie theater, you know, I mean, podcasts, it's, you know, took a lot of effort.
It's like, it's not like another expense that we want to put out right away. You know, we put a lot of, a lot of effort, personal time, and obviously money into the setup, like you said, in the basement. So
with the patio, we're just
one
like,
of those things that you're like, oh, like it's annoying. It's just a bunch of stones on the floor. And I'm not taking away from the labor of it, because trust me, we just did it. Yeah. We literally just dug out a massive
That's only rectangle. That's only a step of it. You know, we still got a couple more steps to go. That's probably the hardest step.
And it looks really good, though. It looks professional. Yeah. But we did that all day yesterday. So we've started building our own patio. I have been watching YouTube videos galore. Does anyone else do that? By the way, like you get something in your head, like any DIYers, any viewers that are DIYers, talk to me, because
that's you.
That is me. I love it. Give me tips, give me advice, just share stories, whatever. Fails, successes, I want to hear them, because I am a YouTuber that like literally watches so many YouTube videos of DIYs. How many times have you like walked upstairs, or I put on a YouTube video to sleep, and you hear like how to build a patio in 7 steps, or like how to change every color of your window in
I love
your
that
house,
about you,
or
though.
whatever it is.
It's so cool.
But I love doing stuff like that.
Yeah, I love that about you.
I love it. And we're going to have a patio soon, because we were like, we committed. It's happening.
Well, the hole is dug up. So the grass is gone and the hole is dug up. So
to be fair, I did say to you, if it all flops, right, and it doesn't work, we'll have a stunning patch of grass.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Well,
there's no weeds to kill. We've dug up everything, like a genuine, like 3, maybe 4 inches.
Honestly, if we can't if we, for some reason, like the stone doesn't work or whatever, we could just keep digging and just get a pool going. You know,
we can't. We just had sprinklers put in.
Just fill up the hole.
Oh my god, that's the one thing we were a little bit nervous about. No casualties, no incidences of hitting the newly put in sprinkler pipes.
The piping.
Our border collie found one though.
Yeah, she's a digger.
Before we just decided to start the patio, by the way, she decided she's a digger, but she's not. Like
you know what it was?
She's frustrated or bored. We've had a rainy day or something, that's what it was. Like we haven't walked them like first thing in the morning, and we're playing with her outside, and then we have to go like get on with our day for a minute and probably walk them in the afternoon, maybe after stream. Yeah. She'll like dig out of frustration or whatever. She goddamn hit a sprinkler pipe.
Yeah, she didn't hit it. It's just you could see it.
Well, she had to have hit it to see it.
Well, no, like I looked at it. I looked at it. Yeah, that's what I mean. I looked at it. If she would have hit it, I think
the saying is hit it. Like it's like you got to it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. You
know what I mean? But
I feel you. She got to it. No, you can't. It was I literally know when it was too. We had a bad storm, so we didn't get to take them out for. I think it was literally a day.
I had a tornado watch actually.
The other day.
Your 4K.
Yep, during the tournament.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was pretty crazy. Another thing that I want to quickly talk about before we get into the rest of the esports and stuff was the Masters. Yeah. Because that's the first time, genuinely, the first time I've ever been captivated by the actual like viewer side of golf. I've always enjoyed hitting a golf ball. If I ever do go to a driving range or whatever,
I'm a golf nut. So that's why she says that, because I watch loads of tournaments and golf videos and everything. So the Masters was the first time you really felt like, oh, this is cool.
It's finally when I actually understood like how it works. Yeah. Like I always had some type of like generic understanding of how it works. I'm not stupid.
No, it's a bit complicated. It's a leaderboard with a whole lot of numbers.
It was exciting though. Yeah. I like how close it is. I like the excitement of like people being able to climb the leaderboard. If somebody, I like the sense that in some aspects you can actually go up places after finishing your 18. Yeah. Based on how other people are playing in front of you, which I think all behind you, which is really really cool. Like I like how like you can shoot a really good round, but you may be sitting in 5th. However many people behind you are ahead of you because they've had a really good day the day before, but they can
drop
choke it
down.
on
They can
2 or
drop
3
down.
holes and just fall apart, and boom, you're in second place like Phil bloody Mickelson.
Yep.
Amazing.
Shot 7 under on the final day there.
Wicked.
And threw himself into a top 2? Yeah, top 2 or top 3.
Really enjoyed that. Did you enjoy John Rahm winning?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's cool too because he's an esport guy too. Well, I say esport guy, but he's obviously invested into Oxygen, esport, and now obviously Boston Breach.
Yeah, well, he's been into Call of Duty for a long time as well.
So really excited for him.
I remember learning the first time that he liked Call of Duty when I was actually the host
when you
of
were
Call
the
of
host.
Duty,
Remember I freaked out.
Yeah, you freaked out. All the guys were. I remember Ant freaking out. Like I remember coming into rehearsals that day. Ant was there holding his cat. We always brought our like pets in rehearsals, so it's just us and our pets in the green screen, like making them float and stuff or whatever, having fun. And I remember Ant going, "Guys, John Rahm knows we exist.
Yeah,
like he knows we were alive. He watches CDL.
Yeah,
he said it in the
he won the 2021 U.S. Open.
Yes,
and
huge.
After they said like what'd you do to start your day?
Yeah.
And he said I think he said his favorite team. I could be wrong, so I'm paraphrasing. He was watching. He said I was watching. I thought he said favorite team, but I don't know what he said. We'll have to go back and look at it. I think he said it was his favorite team.
Yeah.
OpTic Call of Duty.
Yeah.
And I remember like watching, going, whoa, like that's so cool. Like
of course he's
gaming.
an OpTic fan.
Oh no! Hey, listen, now he's a Boston fan. All right, he's invested
I'm
in.
only joking.
He's invested in now.
So funny because Ant tweeted the other day, which is funny enough because we'll come on to this a little bit later on as well, because we'll talk a bit of COD today as well. Ant tweeted day of the Masters, and it was like a few hours before John won. He said something like, John Rahm says he loves OpTic Gaming and they're frying today. It's not a coincidence.
Yeah.
Like, and John Rahm's about to win the Masters.
Yeah,
not a coincidence.
He's frying, they're frying. Like not a coincidence. Yeah. I just think it's cool. I mean, like everyone knows, it's just how universal gaming is becoming, and it's really cool seeing like worlds collide. Not that like everyone's a fan of esports or anything like that, but he's like relatively around my age, basically our age.
Yeah. Is he?
Yeah, I think he's like a year or 2 older than us.
In his 30s?
I think he's like just maybe 30, or he's pretty young. Like he's not old.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just cool. Just really, really cool. And then I remember seeing the OpTic thing, and then later on down the road, now he's involved with Boston.
Yeah.
But yeah, just cool. Cool to see.
No, that is
I'm happy to see him win. I think at any time, not like you relate because he's way better at golf than I am, but just cool to see someone of similar interest do so well. And hopefully, from my standpoint, I hope it just helps push gaming a little bit further too,
I'm manifesting it right now, but I am fully invested in you making the PGA Tour at some point.
Yeah, we'll see about that.
I said I'm fully invested. I know you can do it.
Thanks, babe.
I'm just saying. I have full faith.
She's
and
my biggest hype.
And he 100%. He could do literally.
Hype
you
woman.
could do anything you put your mind to.
Thanks, babes.
Apart from maybe singing, and that's not like I'm not being nasty to you. Some people, I feel like with singing, some people have it, some people don't have it.
I take great offense to that because you've told me I'm a great singer.
I enjoy your singing because it makes me laugh.
You're switching up your tune on me here. That's not what you said. That's not what you said.
That is true. No, but sometimes it's pretty good. Yeah, it's his opera. It's you already know it makes me crack up.
Oh, but you like it.
I love it.
Not because it's funny, because of how good it is. It brought a tear to your eye because of how beautiful it was.
Yeah, well, don't tell people that because people know I cry when I laugh. So certainly did.
What's the next topic here?
It's great. I do love it.
Thanks for the gas,
you
though.
really can do anything you put your mind to.
Thanks. I like living that way. We'll see.
I do too. I've lived my whole life that way, and I've done pretty all right.
I think it's the way to be.
You just do like what were we saying in the car the other day? I said it. I think we were talking about this because we do manifest a lot, and we talk about our ambitions always quite large.
Yeah.
But I think it's a good thing. And then we'll do something that takes us closer to an ambition, and we're like, oh, nice, we've come. You know what I mean?
Well,
I
remember we were talking about this. It was actually about golf, and what I was talking about with it is about, and it is. Listen, it's unbelievably difficult if you guys play it, you know it. But the thing that I said with it is like, I think this relates to a lot of things in life. I just think the biggest issue that people have with it, and look, I'm not good by any means. Don't get me wrong, but I'm considering how short I've been playing. Yeah. But the big thing that I think that people struggle with is just the mentality of how difficult things are. You know what I mean? Like, it's always like, oh, this is really hard, so I can't succeed at that. And it's like, no. Like, you can. You know, like, you really can. You just have to have that mindset of wanting to learn. And if it, you know, for me, it's like, if I'm bad at something, it just drives me crazy, which is usually how I get good at it. You know, like, that's usually how I improve at something. You know, golf as a reference, chess. I'm a big chess player now. You know, that was like a big thing where people were like,
same thing. You have not been playing very long and already miles ahead of probably where you should be, or the average person would be.
You know, I'm average. I'm a for those of you that play, I'm a 1500 rated player. It's not great. It's average. But like, it was funny when, I mean, you know, you remember me and you literally talking about this at the same exact time. I was streaming. I'm like, oh, I just hit 1,000, and people are like, oh, that's cool. Like, you know, you won't hit. I think they said like 1,400 for. I think he said like 3 years. Like, one guy was like, oh yeah, like, you'll see 1,300 in 4 years. And I was like, yeah, I'm going to get I literally replied, I was like, yeah, I'm going to go get that in like 2 months. Yeah. Like, you know, but
yeah, I feel like we have that mindset of like, I really hate this saying, but I'm going to say it because it's easy to understand it, but you miss 100% of the shots you don't take. I hate that saying because it's just really, I find it a bit cringy and a bit cheesy. Well, I like cheesy things, but that one's a bit too much for me. But I think I said it in the car the other day, which was, well, this is the thing. Like, a lot of people who in their head go like, oh my God, I could never do that. Like, there's a 1 in a million chance of like being a pro at this, or being the best at whatever it is, or just achieving your goal. However, the person that really tries to achieve their goal, like really tries, puts the effort in, puts the time, whatever it may be, to really, really, really give it a damn good go, is a hell of a lot closer than the person who never tried in the first place. A hell of a lot closer.
Exactly
so
what
like,
you said.
it's just like, it's the same thing, but I feel like it's a bit more realistic. It's like, yeah, you may not ever like fully make it, but you'll never know if you don't just give it a try. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's like, I personally think no goal is like honestly that crazy. It really depends on like what it is. Like, maybe you want to, if somebody said to me like, I want to go to the moon. Yeah. I still wouldn't think that's crazy. Yeah. I'd be like, well, you enter yourself in an astronaut program, you do this, and this, you study, you do blah, blah, blah. And they might end up on the bloody moon.
I think
like
that's the way to live life, personally.
I don't know,
You know, if you want something, go get it.
And like, actually, don't just sit around waiting for it to fall on your lap. It's not going to fall on your lap. Like, if you know, unless you're already naturally surrounded by that environment. For example, Tiger Woods' son. He was naturally surrounded by pro golf his whole life. He's amazing at golf for a kid. You know, I would not be surprised if he becomes a pro golfer himself, right? But he was naturally surrounded by that. You know, not saying that, I'm not taking away from his greatness, but somebody else who may have nobody in their family or friends who play golf, but wants to be a pro golfer and loves golf, will have to go out every day, go to the driving range, get a net,
put in more work than someone.
Yeah, because you just got to make it happen.
Turn into a golf podcast.
Oh no!
No,
I hear too many of those.
Yeah,
every day.
I think it's I know a lot listens to me listening to golf content all day. I just think like I keep saying, I just think it's a mentality to have. You know, whether it's about golf, chess, working out, you know, business, insert ambition here. If you want it, go get it, and even if you don't get it, at least you tried. Very true. That's the way to be.
I think like moving on to like the next thing that I think, you know, I wanted to talk about, which I think is a good segue to talk about it. All right, let's say you achieve your dreams, you achieve your goals. Like, for example, as a kid, you loved Halo. And I think as you started to realize that the dream was possible to do what you love full time as a career, as you started to place and get into more tournaments and, you know, qualify for this and that, and you started getting on teams, and it was like, oh, sugar, this actually is a thing. Yeah. When do you know when that thing is coming to an end? Like retirement, we've seen quite a few retirements. We talked about it a couple of episodes back. Obviously, late to the party, which somebody loved pointing out. Like,
that
why
happened
are you
weeks
talking
ago.
about scumped methods?
That happened weeks
now?
ago. It's like,
well,
what's
we
our
hadn't
first
talked
episode?
about it yet. But obviously, like 2 very notable retirements. We're seeing a lot of retirements from LEC.
It's been a bunch.
Do you see one from League of Legends as well happening?
No, I didn't notice. I didn't see.
You know, my timeline has been full of
esport
retirements.
Players,
which is fine because I'm sure like it's the age range now, right?
Yeah,
there's like a certain cap that people are just gonna start to.
I mean, retire. I think it's like an age thing, but it isn't. Yeah. Like, I just think overall, I think that it's just interest. And we're getting to that age where you start having other ambitions, essentially, is kind of what I credit it up to. So yeah, I mean, it is an age range in a sense, but I think we talked about this in other podcasts, so I won't deep dive into it, but I think age is just something that's going to continue to be broken in esports. And
I do. I definitely agree with that for sure, because I think it comes down to dexterity in your hands and stuff. But like, there's going to be a point where, like, for example, it's not very physical, is it? No. It's not a super taxing physical. Like, it's not like sport where you genuinely, like, can't walk. Like, for example, Tiger, going back to golf, like, obviously, like, this is not an age thing, but couldn't actually walk to said hole. So it's a little bit different than that. So I think you're right. The age bracket might actually start to push forward. But there's, like, two parts to this, I feel like, anyway, with retirement in particular, is one, whereabouts in certain categories would you judge, or I suppose believe somebody is nearly at their retirement age, like judgmentally, like if you, like, we're not going to talk about specific people, but just in general, like in Halo especially, where would you be like, this person probably is close to retiring? Is there like a thing that you'd, or no, just in general, like it could be either I just think it's like effort. Yeah.
Like you just
does it come down to effort, results, skill? Is there just, I mean,
like, like I think that look, as you get older, your skill can obviously fall down, and and it's happened to people. But I think the large majority of players that, let's say, see, let's call it less results, but in terms of like performance, I think that the large majority would probably not realize, or maybe they do realize, that the performance or lack of performance comes from just lack of effort, and you just don't care the way you used to compared to how you did when you were 13, and I think that's the guys that have super longevity are the people that really care. You can like just tell, like the player cares a lot. Look at like Snipedown as an example, like to be able to go from Halo to, I mean, he played Call of Duty for a while too and saw decent success there, and then he went back to Halo and saw success, and then he went over to Apex. I mean, Eric's like, I think he's 30 or 31 or getting 32, something like that. Sorry, Eric, I'm not trying to add numbers to you here, but I know he's over 30, and to be able to like switch games like that, I feel like if age is such a factor, surely you wouldn't be able to be in the, let's call it, later part of your career and go do that, right? But
sub thing on that, and like, sorry for butting in,
it's okay.
But before I forget it, I feel like 30 is not old. Like, in your 30s.
It was. So this is the thing, is that in gaming specifically, it was up until more recent.
Why is that? Why is that changed?
I'm going to tell you why it's changed now, is because it just wasn't a full-time thing.
Right.
Like, the reason why players fell off, like call it like old school Halo players, the reason why they got worse is because they like went, like, sorry to say it, like they went to college.
Yeah,
and college jobs, family, family.
Okay.
Nowadays, like the pro players now are having families, having kids, but gaming is still their full-time focus in terms of like their profession, whereas before, call it 2006, there was really only like 1 to 2 teams that could make a full-time living, and you can continue to live your life with that being, I say sole focus, but you got to have balance. But the other players that were like in the 8th spot, look, you it's great, you're a pro player and things were going well and it's really cool, but like, you get other interests, you get, your significant other, you get your family, maybe your career is taking you down a different path where you're no longer putting in 10-hour days of gaming, So I think that's been a big switch. I think it's going to continue to be a big switch. I think you'll see people play way past 30.
I think so too, because age-wise, you're like in your prime, I think, anyway. If you've looked after your body and you're healthy.
Yeah, I mean, this is bearing no injuries, obviously. No hand injuries.
But like, I just feel like 30 is, like, I know it sounds silly, but I'm 28.
Yeah.
I feel younger than ever, I feel like, anyway. But I don't feel like I couldn't do
The reason
something.
I brought up Eric specifically, because one of how late in his career he switched over to another game is borderline unreal if you really look at it. But the reason why he's able to do that, in my opinion, is because, I mean, I've competed against him a lot, and if you guys know, I know you obviously know Eric plenty, but if you guys know Snipedown, you know how much he cares.
Yeah.
Like, that's always been, like, almost something that people said in a negative way about him. Mm-hmm. Like, he cares, he's just so into it. And it's like, well, that's the same reason why he's able to go into a later stage of his career and go switch over. And it's like, if you have that care and you have that effort and you're really focused into it, you can go pretty far.
This is what I would say about that, talking about the Switch. I do think there is a time cap on switching, and kind of like what you were saying, because I think, like, for example, this is a prime example of this. Shotzzy, going from Halo to Call of Duty, prime time to switch. He's so young when he started Halo.
He was 17.
So young when he started Halo, was so gifted in that. Switching over to Call of Duty for him isn't a big problem because he still has so long ahead of him in his career to get to that standard or to become the pro player that he is today over the course of how many years he's now been playing Call of Duty. When you're a bit older and you've been on one FPS game or one game entirely for the entirety of your career, and that's the game you put hours in, that's the game you've really started to grind in, or you have been grinding in for 15 years probably. You then get to your 30s. Are you going to make it switching a game to have to then grind? Like, you don't really have the time behind you to put in that same effort you had in that one title to then switch over and make it actually happen. Hey, who knows? You might be able to, but I do feel like in that sense, time is against you. I feel like switching titles is probably better for actual success in the Switch than it is when you're young than it is later on.
You just have more time to develop.
Yeah,
it's just that simple. You have more if you say you switch at 18, you have so much time to learn, you have so much time to play, you have so much time to gather information. And if you're at 30, you're really trying to continue to make it your living. And it's like the easiest way I explain it to someone is like, are you willing to go a year without a paycheck?
100%.
You know, and it's like that's the difference of, like, Shotzzy is a good example. Like, Shotzzy switched when he was 17. Halo had nothing going on at the time, so he did the switch. He waited a full year to compete. Like, he didn't compete, to my knowledge. He couldn't go. I don't believe he could go to any events because he wasn't 18. So he had to wait that whole year. So that whole time he was able to just basically do nothing but play, develop, learn, and then boom, he got on. I think he literally went straight to the Dallas Empire and won his championship over there with them.
Based on your knowledge about Shotzzy, and this is just, from your experience, if he switched back, let's just say all is right in the world with Halo Infinite. It's a bloody amazing experience and it's a great game and everyone's loving it and it's jam-packed, filled with health and numbers. And he switches back and he's like, I want to be a pro again. How quickly do you reckon it will take him to really get back on track with this game as one of the best that we have?
With Infinite, a couple weeks.
Really?
Yeah, Infinite's not hard. To
you really think he could switch back? Because it does run very differently in terms of, like.
Yeah, I think
the move, everything.
His individual skill would still be high. He obviously would need to learn the call-outs, the ins and outs of strategy, and all that. To be honest, the reason why I give him such a short period of time, he already watches. He probably already gets it. He probably already. He's played. I know he's played a little bit. He was good when he played.
Okay.
So yeah, not a long time. Infinite's not super. We kind of talked about it. Infinite's not super individual skill based. And that being said, like, I think he has an advantage because of how individually skilled he is, that he'll get it faster. But in terms of, like, just he'll be outplaying people quick. He'll be outplaying people quick for the little outplay that there is.
Yeah. That's really, really interesting.
He's just one of a kind. When it comes to him, he's just one of a kind.
He honestly never fails to just, like, I don't know, shock me, I suppose.
Yeah.
Like, with his gameplay on Call of Duty, I watch his Call of Duty gameplay, I'm like, wow. You just get better and better, kid. Like, it's crazy, isn't it? When somebody just doesn't seem to have a ceiling.
Yeah, I think for him, his individual skill is always up there, and I think that maybe he would say the same thing. I don't know. This is just me outside looking in. I think I'd say, like, fortunate, but I mean it in the best way, where he teamed with people that really got to get him. And this is just where you give credit to your teammates, same way I would with my come up in Halo. With Halo, he was always really good, and then he teamed with Eco and Stellar, and it was like, and Renegade as well, but Eco and Stellar, like, had that, like, foundation, and I feel like he, like, transformed, like, into Shotzzy, and then fast forward to Call of Duty, he lands on Empire, and he's teaming with Clay and Crim, and all of a sudden it's like he goes from this really individually talented person or, like, player to, he wins the world championship, know, and I think that the one thing that I always give him credit for is he just learns so fast, and I think he is very, again, I say fortunate, but it's for lack of better terms, because he deserved it, so fortunate in the sense of, like, oh, it's a good teammate to have. team just gets to learn from the best, and then he excels in that, which not many. It's funny because not everyone would.
Yeah.
With how good they are, if that makes sense.
No, it makes perfect sense.
Some people are really good individually, but like refuse to learn.
Yeah.
You know. Yeah.
Back on to a little bit more of retirement. Full swing.
Yeah.
Back in. For you personally, what do you think for you is going to dictate retirement? Because I think every single person's different. We've talked about age, skill, all of that. For you, is it down to your age? Is it down to your skill level? Is it down to results? Like, you know, in your mind, do you have like an idea or not yet?
It's just going to be the same thing I kind of mentioned. I think it's just going to be, I think at some point I'll no longer look at winning the way that I look at it now. And that'll be the time to be like, hey, I probably shouldn't be doing this anymore.
So like love of it.
Yeah,
so
just like love of winning and love of competing. I think, like I said, I just think over time it probably goes. I still have it. I had that moment after we won our second world championship of kind of being like, you know, I just don't really, we were just winning and we won a lot and we won twice. And I was kind of like, and you know this, obviously, those of you listening probably know it as well somewhat if you follow Halo. I've always been a guy that puts a lot of stress on myself and puts a lot of stress on my team. After we won, I'm okay. Don't worry, I'm okay. You know that better than anybody. But I just felt like after we won the second one, I was kind of like, you know, for how much stress it's worth, I felt really good winning, but it was like I just made it the end all be all of life. And it's funny because when you make it that and you get it, it just doesn't really, the next one pops up, you know, and you never get that like fulfillment. I have a much better balance now, for better or for worse, I suppose. I think it's for better in terms of my mental health overall. But you know, still want to play, still want to compete, still want to win. I'd say that would have to be the next to go because overall, I don't think I've lost it in terms of individual skill. So, you know, I mean, knock on wood for me. If you're listening, you can knock on wood too. Hopefully I don't lose my individual skill anytime soon.
Not nice, yeah, it's just getting better.
So I feel like that would be what goes, you know, is the want factor.
Yeah, the one. And I think then probably with that, I think that will seep into pretty much every category.
Yeah, right? I think like my performance would probably start to go down, and at the root of it, it's like, well, you just don't care the way that you used to, you know. Like, I mean, look, I'm not perfect now. I think I'm really good. I think I'm up there in the top we just got second. Hopefully I can say I'm in the top 2 teams. You know, individually speaking, last year
you just placed second.
Yeah.
In a grueling
major
double series bracket reset grand final in the first major of our season.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah, and I thought like individually, like I don't think I played well in the finals. We've already kind of talked about that. It's more of
maybe one game.
It was more of a team thing. Like I thought individually, like my shot was fine, but just as like a team unit, like I underperformed.
No.
I thought I did. Anyway, it doesn't make a difference.
That's up to you.
No.
Like, and I'm not being biased when I say that. I'm being actually analytical.
I know. Well, my stats weren't great, but my stats aren't going to be, when we're losing, my stats aren't going to be great.
I think the player that you are, correct. Yeah. I agree.
It's just that simple. And to be fair with what we talked about, I think it was last week, that's something that we're working on.
Like, your team isn't losing because your stats are not great. Your stats are not great because your team is losing.
Yeah.
It's a very different situation.
Yeah, I'm not like playing bad Halo, which leads to poor stats.
100%.
But
I think a lot of viewers don't really understand.
No, that. And I think that.
For most teams.
But to be fair, and this is something I said again on the previous week, that's something that we're working on. Yeah. Where, like at Charlotte, it felt like we were just very individual based, and like because I had to be so focused on objective. Not that my team wasn't, but we just weren't efficient to where I think I put a lot of load on myself to do it. To then when we were in the finals and we were really being challenged, those kind of cracks get shown. And if you're like over sprinting for the oddball, if you're playing OpTic gaming and you're over sprinting for the oddball, like you're going to die, you know? And that's kind of what I felt like I was putting myself through. It's not my team's fault. It was just we hadn't fixed that yet. I think we're getting there. But again, like, yeah, just up until that point, the reason I mentioned even last event and individual speaking is because up until that point, I thought I was having one of the best events I've ever had. Yeah. You know, like my stats were really up there. I think I won an award for it, so I don't think it's too bad to say I had the most objective of the tournament. Like KD wise, I think I was in like the top 5. Like all things were pointing towards I'm still good individually, you know? So again, I think just hopefully it's me deciding to not want to play or, you know, whatever.
Yeah.
before I lose it, because it's got to be frustrating. I mean, it's got to be frustrating if you're a professional in anything. It's got to be frustrating, like still having the drive, but like something just goes, you know, like say like maybe you're dealing with like a hand injury.
Yeah, arthritis.
I mean, look what happened to Zuma. Like Zuma's an incredible player, and he was dealing with, I think it was a thumb injury.
Yeah, it was.
And it kind of just, he couldn't.
He had surgery.
Yeah, the same thing with like, I don't know if he had surgery.
Oh, did he not?
I don't know. He might have.
He had surgery.
He might have. I'm not entirely sure. The comment section will have to tell us.
Yeah.
But enough to where he had to hang it up. And I imagine if you're him, he found his groove in content. He's killing it. And I'm sure he's happy as can. I'm sure he's happy as can be. But I'm sure he misses competing a little bit still, because it's not like he retired because he was bad. He retired because he like physically couldn't continue to go. You know, it's crazy.
Yeah,
I mean, it's just life, I guess. But
it is life.
Hopefully,
it is life.
I try to be cautious of it. I don't want to get hurt.
No, please do not get hurt.
Yeah.
Please do not get hurt. I wouldn't be able to stand that. Another thing I think that leads into this next conversation as well is, you know, esports in general, you know, kind of seeing like a little bit of a drop off of esports in terms of like jobs, and you know, things kind of seem to be going a little bit downhill, and you know, lots of orgs are also kind of going under and leaving, and all sorts of things are happening, and not really for the positive. But I think it's the way that it's kind of leveling itself out, like after being very, very inflated for the kind of infancy and the beginning of esports and the birth of esports. Yeah. Do you see esports being littered with a lot of retired pro players in the future? Do you see a lot of pro players retiring their actual pro game career, but then actually going into esports for something a bit more, I wouldn't say long term, because an esports career can be long term, but it can only be long term for so long. Like, you're probably not doing it till you're 70, are you? So do you see esports being littered with pro players, retired pro players? Yeah,
I mean, like in some ways, you know, if you look at like, for example, like Ogre2, you know, he's a GM over in the Florida Mutineers. You know, I think there are a lot of pro players that could probably go and do some roles like that. But that being said, I think that, you know, I just think that there are guys that could retire and go in a, let's say, a role like that and succeed. Ogre2 has always been great at building teams. He's one of the winningest of, if not, I mean, he is the winningest of all time, but I was going to say of all esports. That I don't actually know, but I think he is of all esports, to be fair. So it's like, it's no surprise, like he dives into another esport and it works in another title, and like he's building rosters. And to be honest, like Florida specifically has done really well, given that they haven't necessarily had the exact, like, let's call it like star power. Like, you know, I feel like Florida's always done really well in the league and even like won a little bit here and there without like bringing on this huge superstar. And I mean, like, I could be wrong. I don't have the ins and outs, but I imagine that's probably because a guy like Ogre2 is really building out a roster. Yeah. So I think that like ex-pros or pro players as we're retiring now, I think that we could, or they could, just depends on the spot. You know, there are people, the thing is now is that used to be the way that I thought, was like, oh, a pro could retire and go do almost anything in esports, you know, for the most part, like within an org, and you would probably benefit. I still think that to some degree, but at the same time now, there are a lot of people that have been working in esports for a long time that are just going to have a lot more experience. Yeah. To where, like, I don't actually know if you could replace XYZ person just because you were an ex-pro player, you know? Some could. Does it depend on how successful maybe you were as a pro player? I think it depends on how successful you are. I think it depends on how your mind works. I think it depends on your communication skills. Like, some pros are more to themselves and not super outspoken or what would be the word? Like, I was gonna say, like, sociable. Like sociable. And I think that within an org, that's probably not great, you know? But that being said, there are probably guys that could, you know, but yeah, it's tough. It depend on who and doing what, I suppose. Yeah. No, definitely. I think it's very interesting to see kind of like who fully leaves esports for good, because I'm trying to think of people who have been of some significance or success in esports, who have retired. They haven't left the scene. Yeah. Usually. Like, they really haven't. You think about it, Rambo, TP,
Who else? You know, Zoom.
I think like
Method,
streaming.
Skunk,
It's just like I think streaming is such a big
Snipe Down.
avenue
Exactly. But
now where you get to stay in some capacity.
Yeah, I mean,
which I think
going
is really
to be a
cool.
coach.
Yeah.
You see, what's his face? Oh gosh,
Oh, yeah,
Atlanta FaZe, COD. Crowder. You know what I mean? I mean, you can name 100
ex-pro
people
players
obviously
that
going to be coaches
yeah.
or like whatever it is in said field.
Yeah.
Big timer, right? You know.
Well, like Big T is. I mean, like Big T could do whatever he wants. Big T's a little bit of a anomaly.
He is.
He's
an
in
anomaly.
it, but he's like does his own thing.
But he also still kind of dabbles in it too.
Yeah.
Every now and then, you know.
Yeah.
But it is just like I can't think of many people who
like just retire straight up.
It's like you never hear from them again.
Yeah.
They live a normal life. They go and get a job in an office.
I mean, look at 343. I mean, a lot of like Clutch and Hines and L Town, like really good pro players that retire and go on to game development. You know, so they're within gaming and esports. Yeah, Bravo, and within gaming and esports, I just think there's a lot of even if it's not call it an org, game development. Like Aches is working on a game.
Yeah.
It's just there's
Shroud.
Yeah.
Dr. Disrespect, he's stayed in the esports scene, but he once didn't stream, and he once, was creating video games. He then went streaming. Now he's doing streaming and creating video games. I mean, it's just a lot of like
there's
full
just
circle
lot
moments,
of,
isn't there? For like pro players, though, I'm talking like Dr. Disrespect. This is totally different, but pro player wise, I do feel like it's very hard to leave esports. Would you find it if you had to like, let's say something terrible happened to your hands?
Yeah,
you're in a fire. God forbid, like that's never happening. But
why'd you
just
go
say,
with the fire?
I know, I don't know. I don't know why.
Why can't I just like drop something on it? Like, why'd you do that?
Because you're so fire. That's why.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
I did that. And you couldn't play anymore.
Yeah.
Would you find it hard to leave the scene? To leave esports and go do something completely different?
I'm just such a weird case. I joke about my stream. Like I could see myself working with an org or helping run a team. I could also see myself being just nowhere near it. You know what I mean? Yeah. But the thing that's so different with me, I was gonna say I feel bad talking about myself, but I guess it is our podcast, so I can kind of divulge a little bit. Yeah, I mean, like my face is right there. Hopefully, I can say it. I just feel like for me specifically, I've been playing in here for so long where I just don't know. It's like I've been playing since I was 6 years old. I'm 27. I've been a pro player for 13 years. I've been on, call it a winning team last year. Kind of. I mean, we won one. We won one out of 3. So winning team for the past 7, 8 years. It's just a long time and a big mental hurdle. Good problems to have. Don't get me wrong. But if I was like, all right, I can't play anymore. I hurt my hands or whatever. It's like, I don't know. But on the same token, that's like, I don't know how to explain it because like that's a feeling that I feel like I would have, but I also feel like I'd find it really hard.
Yeah, no, I understand that.
Like it's what I've known forever. So like I feel like it'd be weird to not have it at all.
Yeah.
I'm pretty realistic.
Okay.
Like there's a part of me that's like I could see myself not doing anything, and then there's another part of me that's like I could do so much.
Big full circle moment here before we
talk
about
I gave
COD.
a terrible answer, by the way,
you
so I'm
didn't,
sorry.
Because it's difficult to know and it's difficult to actually picture it.
I think most people are like, oh, I want to run an org, or oh, I want to do this. I'm just kind of like, I don't know. I don't really know.
Well, this is the thing. So you don't know, so you might not be able to answer this last question. But this is like, we're doing a big full circle moment here because at the beginning of the podcast, we talked about how we can set goals. The patio. For example, the patio. We can set goals and ambitions, or we can have something in our head that both of us feel like isn't so far out to achieve that it's impossible. So we may as well just go for it. So with that bearing in mind, that anything you put your mind to, you at least have a chance, a percentage of it happening.
Yeah.
Come retirement, what is your ideal, most wanted retirement plan? Would you want to be a full-time streamer with an incredible Halo BR coming out? Would you want to own your own org, your own business, be the front man of something like OpTic Gaming, but in the future? Would you want to make your own video game and do an FPS title the way that you want to do it and the way that other pro players want to do it? What is or do you just want to sit down and have a couple rocking chairs on the goddamn front porch and just rock with me until we die? I mean, business wise and kind of retirement wise, what is your like, that's a very ambitious goal, but I know that I could achieve it, and why not?
I think it would be, if I had to pick one and I already know it, it'd be a full-time streamer. And a reason being is like, I just think I love creating content, and I love streaming, and I love even like doing this. Like, I love communicating with people. I get a real joy. Like, now when I'm streaming, people come in and are like, oh, like, hey, caught the podcast. Like, love it so much. You guys are doing a great job. I just like connecting with people, and sharing kind of my experience, and, you know, just having that relationship with people. I don't always get to do that with being a professional gamer. Like, it's very gaming first, obviously.
Shout out G1.
Yeah, gamers first. Yeah, so I'd say if I had to pick one, because I think that can lead to everything else, if that makes sense. Like, you can be a full-time streamer and then route into orgs, your own org. You know, it's just, there's so many different business development ideas that you can get from being your own brand. Whereas, like, if you just pick one, let's say you just pick like, oh, I just want to run my own org. But like, it's a big goal to have, and you can obviously do it, but like, having your own brand first would I mean, not that I don't have my own brand, but, you know, like, being a full-time streamer and building that brand more would almost help with anything alley that you dive into.
No, that makes sense.
Yeah.
You can look at Dr. Disrespect. I bring him up again. His own liquor, his own game, his own whatever it may be. But again, like you said, it's the alleyways, the kind of pathways that open up for that. I completely agree with you. I knew you were going to pick that. Yeah. That's why I was asking you the question. Yeah. I knew you'd pick that.
Plus, I just think it lets you stay in it too. You talk about it a lot. Yeah. You talk about it often. I just think it lets you stay in it. It just lets you stay in it. Like, you know, I could still be around competitive as much as I want to. That could be a lot. That could be a little, you know. I also feel like it still allows you to use your skill as a player. Yeah. Like, you're still video gaming. You're still playing. Look at like TP. Good. Like, TP, you know what I mean? TP retired from competitive 100%. Call of Duty. Why let that go to waste? Yeah, he's frying people. Yeah. You know, he goes to Warzone and he's destroying people. Merc. Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, Merc went to be a caster, but same exact thing where, like, he loads into lobbies and he's destroying. And he's streaming. No, he's casting out streaming now, so that's what I think that would probably be my first. If it was something gaming related, I think it would be that. And like I said, I just enjoy, like, I've made I'd say some of my best friends, like Bo and Grody, like genuinely people who I've met who will be my friends for life through streaming. And I love all you guys, the Snake Pit. Yeah, we do. I do love the whole Snake Pit, but I've known some of you a little bit longer. That's the only reason I single people out. That's all. But I feel like those relationships are really cool. And just with competitive gaming, not like it gets in the way, but, you know, competitive gaming and streaming is very hard to intertwine, because I have a long tournament. You burn out really easily, and then you get, you know, we talked about last week of people saying stuff, and not like it matters, but you just get burnt out. You just read it and you can't reply, because if you reply, then you're the one that's being mean, or like you know, whatever. Yeah. So it's just like, there's a lot of factors that make it a lot more difficult than it may perceive to your eye. Yeah. Because it's a long time that you're sat there. I know, because I see it, and obviously streaming, and then coupled up with doing the podcast, and coupled up with then you having to scrim, and then VOD review after scrims, and it's a lot of screen time, and it's a lot of mental fortitude to keep going. It's like, it's not like you're not trying to be good on stream, is it? Yeah, like, I mean, with just competing alone, it's about 6 hours every day, and that's only scrims and VOD reviews. If you're not warming up, if that's not including warm ups, it's not including your own matchmaking time where you're working on your own game. That doesn't include your own stream. If you're trying to stream and do all that, it's just a lot to do and a lot to gather. You know, we have a 4K tournament the 2 weekends ago, and it's back-to-back 10-hour days of like really high intensity, and then like you go back down because you're waiting, and like that is just really draining. And it sucks because like for you guys as well, like whoever is in the Snake Pit and here, and by the way, if you are new to the channel and you're finding this without being in PJ stream or following one of us, hi, welcome. Hello. First of all. But if you do like high level play of Halo, then please do check out PJ stream, SnakeBite. You know, but it is tiring. Like a lot of your stream doesn't, you know, what you guys don't see is in these 4K tournaments, like it's taking up all day. Like he literally wakes up at 10 a.m. has a quick breakfast, gets on to warm up for an hour or so, and then has to play, you know, and it's just like, it's part of the job for sure, but it just sucks because
obviously you don't have time to stream then.
Well, and you know, because...
And you're exhausted by the end of it.
You
you're
know,
like,
because I complain... because I complain about it too. I like wake up on Monday or Tuesday and I'm like, man, like I'm fried. Like I just, I need I need a day of doing nothing. I don't want to look at the screen, like, you know, and it's not because I don't want to. It's not because I don't want to win. It's just, I've become very aware of my mental, basically.
Normal. It's normal that you're exhausted. It's a lot. It's a lot.
Yeah.
It is a lot. But you're amazing.
Thanks, babes.
You're incredible.
Thanks.
As long as I'm in your retirement plan, I'm happy.
You're in my retirement plan.
Perfect.
For life.
Thanks. Okay.
The rocking chairs do sound nice, though. I will say that.
They do sound so freaking good, don't they? We'll get some rocking chairs. Yeah. On our patio.
That's what I was going to say, on the patio.
Last subject of this episode is a bit of Call of Duty.
Yeah.
Woo!
CDL.
Talk about CDL. Back to John Rahm. OpTic is frying.
Yeah.
After a lot of controversy and changing and the team being basically rewritten in many different ways.
Pretty much.
You know, we've finally, I say we've as if we're a part of OpTic. We're not. We're wearing FaZe. Both of us wearing FaZe merch.
I got my OpTic jersey over there.
I know you do. Very special OpTic jersey.
It'll always be in my heart a little bit. You know?
I know. People actually say to me a lot. Actually, it's funny. People say to me a lot, like, you're an OpTic fan.
Yeah.
People say that to me a lot.
Really?
And I'm like, do you know who I am?
Yeah.
Wrong team. No, but like...
You love OpTic.
But this is...
You love every org, but OpTic...
I mean, you love... every org. Like, I'm like, it's not even cap either.
No, I know.
Like, it's actually legit. Like, people are like, oh, I bet you're rooting against this team. I'm
like, no, not at all.
Not one bit.
Yeah.
Like, I'm whooping and cheering for other teams too, and like other players. I'm like, go on. Like, you know, I enjoy good Halo or good gameplay of whatever I'm watching. That is all I'm looking out for. When FaZe are playing a team, do I want FaZe to win? Can't answer that.
It's also just no, but it's like
can't answer that
but
question.
that's
but
like,
I care about how you do. Obviously, you're my husband.
Yeah, I mean,
soon to be husband.
Yeah, but that's just like
natural.
I know, but I think people.
But I'm certainly not rooting against a team.
Yeah, I think that's the thing that people don't necessarily understand. You know, people give you a hard time for it. But
so
first of all, you know this because people say it to you all the time. You do a great job.
Thanks.
You do a great job. You don't come across as biased or anything like that.
People say to me a lot, like, "How are you not biased?" I'm like, it's because I'm just not biased.
Yeah.
It's literally that's as simple as it is. I'm just not biased. Like, I'm just doing my job. Like, I was doing this before I was with you.
Yeah.
And it's quite easy for me to continue. Do I hope you do well? And do you... actually, the best way to put it is, I hope you do your best.
Yeah.
That is the best way to put it. I hope that every time he gets up on that stage with his team, he does the best that they can possibly do. Yeah. That is all I can ask for, and that is all I hope for.
I think the big thing that people, and I think you said it perfectly.
Same with every other team too.
Well, I think the thing that you said perfectly with that, and we'll jump back into Call of Duty, but I think the thing that you said perfectly with that I really, really love is that you're not rooting against anyone.
Never.
I think that's the thing that people don't understand with it is like, yeah, obviously you want me to do my best and you know, see success with that, but you're not rooting against the team to do bad.
100%. You know, somebody said to me, I had a couple tweets during the World Championship.
Yeah.
How can Lottie sound so excited that OpTic won the World Championship? How can she be clapping? Like, she's a liar. Stuff like that. Like, she's so fake. Of course I'm happy.
Yeah.
Those 4 guys' lives just changed.
Yeah. 5, including Jason, of course.
100%. I mean... Like,
you're just
of course I'm happy because they were amazing.
Yeah, you're rooting for the game.
They were incredible all season, and they had such an amazing journey. Yeah. And I'm so happy. Like, it's crazy to me that, you know, just because obviously I do have a very close connection to someone playing, which is totally understandable. And I get probably why people would think that. But if I'm up there and I'm doing a type of thing or certain thing, just know I mean it. Yeah. Like, I would never say something I don't mean. You know, like I'm never going to say I'm an OpTic fan. I'm never going to say that. Like, I probably would never say I'm a FaZe fan.
Yeah.
But like, you know, if I go up there and I congratulate a team or I say a team are frying and doing really well,
you mean it.
I bloody well mean it.
Yeah.
Like, it's as simple as that.
I think people, and I think you said it. I think I understand why they would say that or like why they would think that. But I think the thing that they're not acknowledging is your love for the game, your love for the game and your love for the team and your love for the esports. Because like, it's easy to root and to cheer if you just love those things.
Don't get me wrong. I cheer very loudly when you play, but I'll tell you why. Because you combine my love with the game with my love for you.
Yeah.
So when you're doing really cool shit, it's 10 times more exciting to me.
Yeah.
That's probably the best way I can explain it.
Yeah.
That's why.
I think that's fair.
Because it's two loves of my life doing some cool shit together.
You're sweet.
It's simple as that.
Yeah.
Anyway, back to Call of Duty.
OpTic or Frying.
Little segue, little like side mission there. OpTic or Frying.
OpTic Texas.
OpTic Texas fan for life. Right here. They're doing really, really well. What do you think of Ghosty and how he performed at the last major and how they've been looking recently?
Yeah, I mean, they had a crazy run. We talked about the major a little bit, so we won't dive in too much into it, but made all the way to the finals. I think they were lose back round one all the way to the finals. To do that, any tournament is a ridiculous run, and then since then they've only kind of kept up that momentum. People now, I see on Twitter a lot of people basically claiming them as the best team. They're like basically beating everyone in scrims. They're winning all their series matches. I think it's cool. I'm always cautious of saying the best team thing, only because I'd be a hypocrite of I think that you're the best team. I think that when it comes to being like the best team, you have to win the LAN. Like. I give that title to Toronto until they lose the next one. I say until if they lose the next one. But it's really cool to see them doing so well, and obviously they're poisoning themselves. Is poison the right word? They're positioning themselves.
I thought you said poisoning.
I don't know what I said.
I thought you said they're poisoning themselves.
Poisoning,
like,
not poisoning. Poisoning.
Poisoning.
I think I meant putting themselves in the position to continue to see success.
Me
carry
too.
it in the next LAN event.
I think so.
I think it's cool, and because it's been a hard journey for them. Seth retired a little bit early to like kind of try to get everything back on track. Illy's on the bench still. It's been a little bit of like a rocky road, and it's cool seeing. And plus, I like him a lot. I'm obviously pretty good friends with Hugh and Shotzzy, so I always root for those guys.
100%. Yeah, it has been very, very rocky, but I think. And also, it's probably very nerve-wracking for Ghosty coming in.
He's talked about it. Yeah. He's talked about it. It's a tough spot to be.
It's a very tough spot to be. You have a lot of eyeballs on you who probably already big fans of Illy and also Scump as well. Like it's just very difficult.
The Green Wall is like one of the best fan bases to play for. It's also one of the hardest fan bases to play for because when you're winning and doing really well, and I think there's waves of it. There's like waves of it, but when you're doing well, everyone loves you, vibes are good. And then when you're doing bad, that's the thing I hate about social media is obviously if something goes wrong, people can kind of jump on you. But the people that jump on you are not necessarily, you know how it goes with social media. And if you're listening to this, you know exactly what I'm talking about. You see it with the Halo team. I mean, they won a world championship, and as soon as we take one series online, it's people jumping down Matt's back and freaking out about him. And it's like, dude, like, Jesus,
I know.
But that's the name of the game.
It is the name of the game. Well, the name of this game is you have to go warm up for scrims very soon.
I do.
So we're going to have to cut that one pretty damn short just because we are running out of time because we can't help but talking. I said we were going to do a shorter one today because there wasn't as much to talk about, but apparently there always is. So it is what it is. Let's rate our coffees. I'm going to go first. This was a 10 out of 10.
I'm annoyed that you went first only because you knew that I would say 10.
You went first last time.
I don't know about that. We're gonna have to check. We gotta check the tape on that one.
Make some good coffee.
If you're an NJ, pick it up. Not an ad.
Not an ad. But what I will say is this is probably a 10 out of 10, not just because of the beans, but because the baristas actually made it, not me. So it's really, really good when it is made for you.
Yeah. That's not true though.
Oh no, that is
I've been to plenty of places that mess it up.
So have I. But I'm just saying this is a 10 out of 10 because it was made perfectly. And by the way, if you're wondering, the bean that was used in both of our drinks is the espresso bean. So if you do go pick up and you want an identical version of our drinks, it is the espresso bag that was used in-house. 10 out of 10. You said 10 out of 10 too?
10.1.
There is no 0.1. It doesn't go over 10.
It is what it is. 10. I don't know what to tell you.
Folks, thank you so much for tuning in this week. We love you very much. The support has been out of this world, catastrophic, explosive, incredible, any other amazing, shocking words that I could possibly use. So thank you so much for all of the love and the comments. We absolutely love them. We will see you guys in next week's episode, which will be 34. Let us know what you think of this week's one. Hopefully we'll have a little bit more to say with the qualifier coming this weekend as well. So much love to you guys. And as always, stay on the grind.